You've joined us just in time to catch up with the CEO of the week. He's the second in line at the growing homeopathic specialty chain, Dr. Batra's. Rajiv Lulla caught up with this young doc when he was in Chennai recently.
We have with us today Dr. Akshay Batra. He's the Deputy Managing Director of Batra Clinics. He's also the Vice President of the Trichological Society in London. Welcome, Akshay.
Thank you.
Before we go too far deep into the business of Batra Clinics, I'd like to understand what is trichology.
Trichology really is the science of hair, and it's something that was founded about 100 years ago in London. And what many people don't know is that hair really is a mirror of health. So by looking at the hair, you can tell internal diseases, you can tell internal derangements, we can look at hair and diagnose, various health conditions which otherwise go unnoticed. So that really is trichology.
Akshay, tell us about the business part of it as well. How is homeopathy doing in India these days?
That's interesting. Homeopathy really, as I said, is a new science, and it's 250 years old. Ayurveda is about 3,000 to 4,000 years old. Allopathy is about 2,000 years old. So it is a relatively new baby. In India, homeopathy is growing at about 25% per year.
And did you say it's about 250-year-old?
That's right. And it's growing at about 25% per year, whereas allopathy is growing at about 5 to 7% a year. So of course the volumes are very different, but homeopathy is catching on and is growing very, very fast. A survey done in India in 7 cities showed that 45% of people surveyed would choose homeopathy as a first option. So that's picking up as well. Homeopathy, I think the Indian market is currently pegged at about 12.5 billion rupees. And by the end of 2010, it's estimated to double to 26 billion rupees. So that's a huge jump we're expecting to get in homeopathy this year. Overall, I think India is the 3rd largest market, the largest being France. Because in every pharmacy in France you can buy homeopathy off the counter, almost every single pharmacy. Allopathic doctors in France prescribe homeopathy. The 2nd largest is UK, where it's part of the National Health Scheme. So if you take homeopathic medication, the government pays for it. The Queen Mother, Prince Charles, they're all firm believers in homeopathy. And the 3rd largest is India. India has the largest number of homeopathic practitioners in the world at 500,000.
Let's bring this down to Chennai, our hometown here. What brings you to Chennai, first of all? I know you're from Mumbai.
We run 4 clinics in Chennai, and I'm really here to oversee the running and to talk to my staff and kind of see how the operations are doing. I generally come here once a month to do that.
Let's take a look at, for example, the specialties that you support. Tell us about the different parts of your business. How are they doing?
Well, really, Dr. Batra's as a group runs 4 business lines. The flagship line is Dr. Batra's Clinic, which is something we started in 1982. This was started by my father, very humble beginnings, which we're very proud of. My father worked in a charitable institute for 9 years of his life for 150 rupees a month as a fixed income. After that, he took a loan, on a heavy interest and started our first Dr. Batra's Clinic in 1982. We still have that. We call it a museum because it's so small, but we still have it. It's in Chowpatty in Bombay. And from there, we realized that we could, homeopathy is getting very good acceptance. We started our next clinic in Mauritius, the next one in Bangalore, and then it went on and on. Today we have 55 clinics in 20 cities of India. We are also in Dubai Healthcare City, which is a prime project for us because we're the only homeopathic clinic to get a license there. And we're, Harvard, Mayo, and some of the best names in healthcare are part of Dubai Healthcare City. So that's a huge project for us. We are opening in London at Harley Street the next month. We are also in Muscat. So these are some of our international clinics. The other few lines we've started is Dr. Batra's Products, which is where we make personal care products like shampoos and allied healthcare things, hand washes, face washes, hair oils that would actually supplement the treatment. So far these are only available in our clinics, but we plan to hit the OTC very soon. We've just taken up a new factory outside Bombay in Palghar, where we can increase the capacities by 5 times. So we hope to be on the open market very soon. So that's the 2nd business line. The 3rd business line is Dr. Batra's New Heart, where we do hair transplant surgeries. This is nothing to do with homeopathy, so there was also a step in a different direction which we decided to take.
One more question that comes to people's mind when thinking about homeopathy, or for that matter any kind of healthcare, is am I going to the right hospital? Am I going to the right doctor? What criteria should I keep in mind in finding the right source?
Well, as far as homeopathy is concerned, unfortunately there's not much that you can do. The reason being that it's so fragmented, that there are no reports, there are no studies for local doctors. I mean, for homeopathy in general, homeopathy has tons of documentation available now, double-blind studies to show it works. But if you're asking about which doctor has what cure rates, that's very difficult to find out.
Do you track these cure rates within your clinic?
We track these cure rates within our clinic in 3 different ways. So the first way is we track it through our ERP, as I mentioned, our software. The press of a button, we come to know what segment is doing what, with each doctor, what are the cure rates per doctor, what are the cure rates per clinic, per city. But apart from that, we also, through our feedback mechanism with patients, and also we hire, once in 2 years, we hire an external agency. And we just hired Nielsen Company last year, which we got very, very good results from. Which showed that about 85% of our patients won't move to any other brand for treatment. So we do track our cure rates and our patient satisfaction in these ways.
Well, pretty good. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. I would welcome you more often to Chennai. Please do come to our studios often. Thank you, Akshay, for being with us.
Time now on the show to quiz a local celebrity on what he does with his money.
Money. He's a very great director. In fact, his Ravan, I'm looking forward to his movies. Mani Ratnam, I thought you were asking about Mani Ratnam. Oh, you asked about this money. Okay. I'll tell you about money. Money is something which I have a lot of respect for, but I don't have any fear for money. Money is something which is with you when you don't need it, and which is not with you when you desperately need it. Fine, I invest a lot on humor. So every minute which I spend is either on a show, on doing a show, or listening to some humor speech or something. For me, profession is also humor and relaxation is also humor.
We'll see you next week with all the latest business news and views. Have a great week ahead.